Hey guys, how's it going? It's Rob Sutton and we're back here with another video today. So we've all been there. We went out and bought ourselves a GoPro, took it out, made our first video, got it onto the computer, and wondered why does it not look like anything that I saw in any of the commercials. So in this video, we are going to talk about and I am going to show you how to get professional looking GoPro footage for free. So let's get started. So to start things off, we're going to go into the settings on this GoPro and I'm going to show you the recommended settings that is going to give us the baseline that will give you the footage that you are looking for so we can make it look a whole lot better. So let's get into it. All right, to start off, just pick any of these presets and hit the edit button. I use the cinematic one. So you will see we are at resolution of 4K at 24 frames a second. The lens is at super view and the hyper smooth is at boost. Low light, NA, zoom, 1x, clips off. Now this is where we're going to get into where we change most of the settings. This is in the Pro Tune section. We want the bitrate at high, shutter at auto, EV comp at -1, white balance at 5500K, ISO minimum at 100, ISO max at 3200, sharpness at low, color at flat, raw audio at high, wind off, stereo mics. So now that you have those settings set up, what are we trying to do here? We're trying to capture the highest quality video with the least amount of on-camera processing. We want that image to be flat, we want to retain as much detail as we can, and we want to record as much detail as we can. Now, putting the white balance at 5500K is what you're going to be using 95% of the time anyway, and I will also show you how you can adjust that in the computer. But what we want to do here is take the hands out of the GoPro. All I want is a recorded file with as much data as humanly possible, because then I'm going to tweak that data to make it look like what you see in the commercials. Also, just a little bit of a pro tip here, if you are in situations where there are a lot of wind. I record a lot of POV footage for Bike 198, so I've got a lot of on chest, on helmet, on bike footage that you can really hear a lot of wind. The GoPro wind setting really messes with the audio a lot. It'll make it dip in and out. So what you need to do is just go onto Amazon, and I'll put a link down in the description below, and buy what they call these little dead cats. You simply just tape them over the mics and you leave that setting off and the wind noise goes away, but you keep your high quality audio. So guys, here we are at the computer, and what we need to start doing is actually color grading our footage. What you're going to notice when you just open the footage on your computer by itself, it looks really flat and unsharpened. That's a good thing. So as I mentioned before, this is actually going to be done for free. What you're going to do is download a program called DaVinci Resolve. It is by Blackmagic. Now, for those of you that don't know, Blackmagic is world renowned in color grading. What they've actually done is made their own editing program that you can download for free that includes all of their tools for color grading that are really great and easy to use. There are a lot of pro editing houses that actually edit in other programs and then bring it back into Resolve for color grading just because of how good this tool really is. So go ahead, download the app, install it, open it up on your computer, and that's where we'll get started. When you first open up the program, you're going to be in the Media tab. You can go ahead and click onto the Edit tab. This is where you're going to import your footage. As you can see, I already pulled in a surfing video and a mountain biking video that were both recorded on a GoPro Hero 8 with the recommended settings. At that point in time, you just need to drag them onto the timeline, and then we will go over to this color section, which is where we will be making all of our edits. All right, guys, so here we are in the color tab. We have our parade and waveforms opened up, and we are on our lift, gamma, and gain wheels, which is going to be our primary concern here. We have our image up here that we are ready to actually start with the editing process. As you can see right now, it looks really flat. So what you're basically dealing here with is your lift, which is your shadows, your gamma, which is your midtones, and your gain, which is your highlights. So the goal here with the lift is to get it just barely off the bottom of this graph here. We don't want any of it too high, and we don't want any of it slammed down where we're actually losing information. So let's bring it right up here. Then we'll do the same with the gain. We don't want anything out here where we're blowing out highlights and losing information, and we also don't want it too low because it's going to be too dark. So we want it right off the graph just like that. And then we'll go to the gamma and adjust these midtones to be about mid-range. So now we've got our exposure pretty much locked and everything is at appropriate levels. Now obviously we need to go in and add some contrast as well. That's starting to look good. And this was a flat image, so we need to add in some saturation as well. Now it's starting to look exactly like I remember seeing it out on the trail. Now, if you need to adjust your white balance, you can get a good starting point with this little dropper here and So we have a pretty good white balance here already, but I want to show you what will happen if we pick something that's not neutral. When I picked a blue, everything went red. When I pick a purple, everything will go green. Now we'll just go back to a neutral gray. So here's the after and the before. Once I get done dialing in contrast and saturation, I like to go back to the midtones and lighten them up or darken them as needed. That's starting to look pretty good. So now we'll go back into this radius tab here and add just a little bit of sharpening by dragging that down to about 0.42. There we go. So there's after, before, after. Now is always a good idea to hit play and see how these scopes actually turn out in other areas of the footage. As you can see here, we got a little bit of bright, so I need to bring the gain down just a little bit. And that'll make it so we're not losing information in those spots. There we go. That's looking pretty good. Now let's go into the surfing video, and I'll do the exact same thing. And then once you're done, hit the Deliver tab, and you're able to export it in any format you need for Facebook, YouTube, or otherwise. So there you have it. That's how you get professional looking GoPro footage out of your GoPro. Forget all of those standard settings that the GoPro came with and take those settings and do that to your footage through DaVinci Resolve, and you'll get a lot better output with the final product. So guys, if you have any questions or comments, please hit up that comment section below. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and consider subscribing to Rob Sutton for more videos and tutorials and reviews like this in the future. And until then, on to the next one. Thanks guys, see you.